It's the 7th of the 5th, 2025. The time is 23 minutes past 8. And your boy can't even get his words out of his mouth. There are very many F1-centric threads at which we need to pull. Front and centre, however, is the future, not of Red Bull, not of Maximilian Verstappen, but of Christian Horner. Oh, the humanity. You will recall not too many cycles ago, Nostradamus said, if you keep Christian Horner at this team, that dude will implode it. His presence, the disharmony, the allegation gate, the PA, the litigation to come shortly thereafter. The fact that Nostradamus and Max and Helmut Marko, they forgive, but you never forget. You remember Christian Horner at the Austrian Grand Prix saying, Toto, if you want a Verstappen, then I know one that's free. Nostradamus, father of Max, he's free, because what he won't be doing is partaking in the Austrian GP legends. He won't be driving the RB16 or the RB16B. He won't be doing any of that, because I don't like him and I don't want him involved. And I am the CEO of Red Bull Racing Technologies. I was the one who tried to levy British financiers with a view to spin it off so that I could become Toto, the boy who cried wolf, of Red Bull, team principal, come CEO, come shareholder, majority. That's what Christian Horner's always wanted. And again, potentially all of the aforementioned circumstances, all of what's happened since, might lead to this dude's downfall. I'm going to lay out exhibit A, B and C shortly, I promise you, but it gets techier than techie things, as it always does on this channel. What do you want me to do? Go on then, let me tell you about Christian's downfall and how this might play out. There is a chap called Adrian who you guys might know of him. Some call him the last airbender. Some say that in his thesis at university 1,000 gazillion years ago in 1980 something, that he did that he had as its focus ground effect in sports cars. Fast forward to 2025, what are we dealing with? Ground effect cars that are understeery in low minimum speed turns and snap oversteery in the high speed twisties. Who better to deal with that than Christian Horner? So surely the one that they call Christian and the balls that are red, they should be all good. Well, no, there was allegation gate, and because of that and all of the circumstances, the go-to one that they call Adrian Newey had one of these. Decided, you know what, I just want to build quick racing cars now and always. I don't want to have to deal with all of this political nonsense. Were Dietrich's still alive, I wouldn't have to. Christian Horner would have kept himself in check, been on his best behaviour. Adrian Newey shortly thereafter said, you know what, that's my PA. I like that person and I don't like the way that that person is being dealt with. I am out. That's the first nail in the Christian Horner coffin, because if there were such a thing as a guarantee of success in the formula that wons, then that would be Adrian Newey, last airbender, the dude who sees airflow, for Pete's sake. Again, every single team that he's worked at, please see Williams, McLaren, Red Bull, he wins. This has been his modus operandi now. Ergo, if ever there was such a thing, as there probably isn't, a success guaranteed in Formula One, then it has a name, and its name is Adrian Newey. Shortly thereafter, Jonathan Wheatley, legend, that guy who has a photographic memory, eidetic some may say, guy who combs through the rule book and advises the FIA what they can do in accordance with their own rules and regs as they are laid out. Keep him there for right. He's the sporting director. He's the reason why operational infrastructure has never been a question as far as Red Bull are concerned. God tier racing mind, God tier executor of F1 things. Keep him then. Now that you don't have Adrian Newey, surely keep him. Upgrade him, give him another role, keep him interested. Surely that's the modus operandi. That would be the play if you were the Horner that Christians. They didn't do it. He wanted a team principal role, and there was rumour last year, of course, in the middle of all the allegations, that Christian Horner was going to be gonzo. Wheatley waited around to see if that was going to transpire, and it did not. When it did not, he decided to take another team principal role at Stake F1 Sauber, soon to become Audi. So that's your next God tier person that Red Bull and Christian Horner have allowed to walk out the door. And now all of a sudden it looks like the God tier at Red Bull pit stops 2.0 flat each and every single time. Now, where are they? They can't even get the bloody automated red light right. And I don't think that's just a coincidence that starts happening when the one that they call Jonathan Wheatley has not long walked out the door. Oh, and by the way, as far as timing, because sometimes when you're connecting these dots with a view to avoid causation apophenia, sometimes you've got to look at timing right. Again, Christian Horner's a survivor. I should say for context, 2021, this was the same circumstance, that if he didn't bring silverware then, if Maximilian Verstappen hadn't won a championship of the drivers' variety that year, Christian Horner would have been gonzo out the door. We know that to be a fact, and that's why Christian Horner is nothing if not a survivor. Resilient settings, God tier. You hear the way he goes on Netflix Drive to Survive. You see the way he races hard, the way he's prepared to turn around his cap and get in the face of a Michael Massey, or go up close and personal with a Toto, the boy who cried wolf. That's been his gift. And that's why many have said about Christian Horner for the longest time, myself included, that if there's a team principal on the grid of the 10 that I would want to go into the trenches with, then he has a name, and his name is Christian Horner, because there is no length to which that chap will not go with a view to get a W. And I do not hate that. I cried when in 2021 Toto, the boy who cried wolf, wouldn't meet Christian where he stood, always on about sporting etiquette, prioritising the whys, the processes as versus the outcomes. But now it's getting techier than techie things for Christian Horner, because overnight a couple of different things have happened, and I'm going to show you some slides. Again, I don't want to do the King George Russell thing of Kings Lynn Norfolk, but sometimes I've got to show you some things, and then we can connect the dots shortly thereafter. Take a look at this. So again, it's been reported that the helmet that Marco's says, people keep talking about me retiring, saying that Sebastian Vettel might come into the foray and replace me as head of the Red Bull Junior program. Helmut Marko says though, and I quote, "I don't know who wants to send me into retirement at the end of the year, but per Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not leaving." Those are Helmut Marko's words and not mine. And he's old now, is Helmut. At some point, surely he's got to retire, but he won't be retired by anyone. Now, I'm insinuating from this, and this is conjecture and speculation, as always, I'm insinuating that because Helmut and Christian have been at loggerheads, so too the UK faction of Red Bull Racing in Horner and Austria, Oliver Mintzlaff, Mark Mateschitz, Dietrich Mateschitz' son, have been at loggerheads for the longest time, because Christian Horner wanted to take this thing called Red Bull Racing, spin it off in his own image. That because of all of those factions and fissures and acrimony, that Christian Horner potentially, because of his disagreement on Nick de Vries as an example, is potentially trying to get his elbows out around Dr. Helmut Marko. Not long after this dude has just signed an extension to his contract and faded to black the old Helmut Marko clause in Maximilian Verstappen's contract. Please see his Exhibit B. Because this happened overnight, did it not? Oli Oakes apparently resigned as Alpine team principal. Now, we know at Alpine it's been chaos. Engine manufacturer, yes, they are. And then tomorrow, they're not. How does that even work? Who's making the decisions over there? Well, we know that Flavio is the one holding the red pen. Flavio Briatore, ex-criminal, the one who was once upon a time banned for life from Formula One for his part in Crashgate. Mention no names, Fernando Pan Alonso and Nelson Piquet Jr. at Singapore, the first race around there. They recruited Flavio Briatore, if rumour is to be believed, to increase the asset value of Alpine to one day sell in the not too distant future, let's say 2 to 3 years. To do that, of course, you need marquee names, you need key drivers, star personnel. Usher in, stage left, the one that they call Franco Colapinto. But Jack Doohan had the seat, did he not? But Flavio doesn't care about that. He doesn't care for rules and conventions. He wanted his guy Franco in there with all the sponsors and a Carlos Slim $20 million a year. Why? Because cash rules everything. Cream. Get the money. Dollar bill yours. Go on then. Oliver Oakes' resignation. To that, and again, it's techie. I don't want to go into the circumstance necessarily as it pertains to Oli Oakes and Renault. We're having this conversation now under the umbrella heading of what's going to happen to Christian Horner. It's what Flavio Briatore said, and many people are speculating that he's not telling the truth. But let's read it out anyway. Quote, a lot has been said in the past 24 hours incorrectly associating the decision of Oli to resign to an alleged disagreement or that we shared different views. This is completely false and far from the truth. Me and Oli, continues Flavio, treat this with a pinch of salt, eh? Me and Oli have had a very good relationship and had long-term ambitions to drive this team forward together. We respect Oli's request to resign and have therefore accepted his resignation. The reasons are not related to the team and are of a personal nature. I don't know what to make of this. I will continue to be more and more involved. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock, as you always do, Flavio, with the team together with strong management we already have in place. Behave yourself, Flavio. Nobody can take you serious when you're saying things like that. What strong management? I mean, it's a turnstile as far as the personnel coming in and out the door. Oli Oakes has only been there for 10 months, Flavio. What are you talking about? You can't have strong management if you don't have stable management. All of the guys and girls over at Alpine, the Enstone team, will be looking at them like, what are you talking? This is nonsense. We were just growing to like Oli Oakes and now he's resigned. Why has he resigned, Flavio? And they won't be looking to take their orders from you. But I digress. Flavio continues, we will work hard on improving our position this year and preparing for 2026. Included is a message from Oli to the whole team. Go on, let's read that then, because I think this is revealing. It matters under the umbrella heading against the backdrop of what's going to happen to Christian. Take a look at this. Message from Oli Oakes. It's been a privilege to lead everyone at Enstone. What a team, what a place. It's a personal decision for me to step down. Flavio has been like a father to me, nothing but supportive since I took the role, as well as giving me the opportunity. Everyone is in place for 2026, and where this dream deserves to be, I believe in Enstone. Very heartfelt there from Oli Oakes. I'm not going to tell any lies. Plucks at my heartstrings, you know what I mean? Brings a tear to my eye. Now, if you believe that, then what's happened? Why would Oli Oakes leave? What could be the personal reasons potentially? Well, let me tell you this story. Manchester United wanted to sign themselves a manager. His name is Amorim. This was happening last year, middle of last season. Amorim said, you know what, mate, I want to see out this season with my current team and then I will come to you. Man United's always been my dream to manage. Let me chill out for now and I will come after the season and we can do an entire summer break together. I will take pre-season training, etc. It will give me some time to get my feet underneath the table. Man United said to Amorim and his management, no, if you want this job, chap, you're going to come now. I don't want to hear about all your nice timing stuff, what you're going to do in the off-season, taking all of this pre-season training. That's an ideal set of circumstance. But Man United, so Jim Radcliffe et al., the Glazers too, said what we don't have as Manchester United is time. This is a deal or no deal circumstance. Either you take the deal and come now in the middle of the season and sort out our team, or you don't come at all. Keep that front and centre of your mind as we draw dots here. We start to connect them potentially incorrectly. Let me tell you something else about Oli Oakes. Team principals age in 2024. Look, so Oli Oakes last year, 36 years old. He was the youngest of the team principals, the 20 or 10 even of them on the grid. James Vowles, second youngest, 45 years old. That goes all the way through to Frederick Vasseur, the oldest, at 56. Andreas Stella, 53, etc., etc. You get the picture. Surprised, by the way, that Toto is so young, to be fair. I thought it was like 55, 56, but I digress. You will recall Christian Horner joined Red Bull in 2005, I want to say, as the youngest team principal ever. Early 30s, if I recall correctly. There is synergy here, therefore. There are parallels. Red Bull like them young as far as their team principals. Remember this, chat. And then you get the legend that is Junaid, hashtag GB17, saying, very fascinating, read somewhere that Red Bull GmbH are looking at Oli Oakes as a replacement for Horner. All speculation, of course, until something happens. Let me tell you this, chat. Do you know how chaotic that is? That Red Bull potentially have had enough of the one that they call Christian Horner. Tyson, you're an absolute legend. Thank you for becoming a member, sir. That, ladies and gentlemen, is chaos. Rumour and speculation that Christian Horner is on his way out. Now, if we're cross-teching, ticking and tying, dotting our evidence I's and crossing the T's, you will have heard at this juncture that Imola, some say, helmet marker included, is potentially Red Bull's last hope. And again, the stakes are as follows. If they don't get it right, Max Verstappen has the opportunity to hit the exit button, to press escape. For he has an exit clause in his contract that dictates if, as at the summer break, some say he's outside of the top 3 in the driver's standing, then he can null and void his contract that goes through to 2028 with the balls that are red with immediate effect. Therefore, Red Bull are bringing all their ammunition to Imola. Next round, they would have brought it to Miami, but you don't do that at a sprint race unless your name is McLaren in 2024. Bring all the upgrades. Let's throw all of the ammunition at this. But this is now last gasp or last chance saloon. It is indeed a last gasp. Christian Horner's last breath as far as his tenure as team principal of Red Bull Racing. And then you get this article.
So teams want to have tires in their operating.
A couple of different outlets are talking about this. And this is important. Sportsmall, FormulaPassion.it, and all F1 journalistic publication are created equally, but some are created more equal than others. Here's what you need to know. Let's read this out together. Concurrently, as far as Oli Oakes' sacking or resignation, depending on who you listen to, speculation has emerged that Oli Oakes may have been approached by Red Bull's Thai faction to replace Christian Horner as team principal. Remember, they like them young as far as their team principals. Christian Horner was the youngest of his ilk when he was first appointed at Red Bull. Remember, Nostradamus doesn't forgive, nor does he forget. Apparently, this harmony settings, you'll recall Maximilian Verstappen has said that he needs 3 things if he's to continue as a Red Bull Racing employee. Semblance of harmony at the team, the key personnel, and therefore a car. All of those 3 are gone. None of them are that. You're going to tell me that the RB21 in its current state is fit for purpose, commensurate for the not insubstantial skills and talents of Maximilian Verstappen, for some say soon to be 5-time champion behind the wheel of an F1 car? Absolutely not. And then how about all the key personnel? Where are they? Wheatley, gone. Rob Marshall, gone. Dan Fallows, gone. And then since been sacked again from Aston Martin. And Adrian Newey, the last airbender, the cherry atop the cake, also gone. What are we doing here? Max Verstappen has none of that semblance of harmony. There is still beef. Yeah, they kiki and play nice in the paddock, but you can see, any fool can see the body language. They are not friends. No one's going to tell me that Maximilian Verstappen will want to operate in that environment, particularly if they have an SH1T box of an RB21 car. Italian publication Autosprint suggested that Red Bull's Imola upgrade package could be Horner's final chance to secure this position. Formula Passion also noted the Thai faction saved Horner in early 2024. That Thai support now seems to be disappearing. What are they talking about? Well, the Thai guys, the Chailamavija family, the family that own 51% of Red Bull GmbH, the parent company of Red Bull Racing Technologies. They once upon a time thought that Christian Horner, they saw him as an adopted son. If not for them, Christian Horner would have been gone in 2024. Now, apparently, according to this, it seems that support for him is waning at the altar of material underperformance in extremis It's been going on too long, and they're about to lose Maximilian Verstappen potentially. While Red Bull advisor Dr. Helmut Marko has touted the Imola upgrade as a potential turning point for the team, Horner downplayed its significance in Miami, stating there is no big upgrade for Imola. I don't know where that's come from. We're at the stage of these regulations where it's all incremental gain. Well, let me tell you this, Christian, you better hope there is an upgrade coming for Imola or something else happens to turn the tide, chap, because what's happening at the moment is that you are drowning in your own underperformance. Let me say again, for the avoidance of doubt, nothing against Christian, because I personally like the chap, but the words, as far as karmic justice in Formula One, you will know that this is a story told in tense, and ultimately what have you done for me lately is all that matters. That will be written on the epitaph as far as Red Bull Racing's team principal career is concerned. Let me tell you this as well. Karmic justice doesn't sleep. OG Zilla says Red Bull would implode before Max gets his fifth, utilising Nostradamus' words, of course. Who amongst Team Max will get some lines out now? Jos is Christian Horner's public enemy number one. I'm telling you, it's cut. It feels like it's cut right. I'm just presenting the evidence right, and there is a cacophony of it. Let me tell you this, though. This is where it's really important, because karmic justice apparently doesn't sleep. You will recall, this is where it gets techier than techie things as we round third bay. You will recall on the Netflix Drive to Survive when Toto Wolff was begging them, imploring the FIA to put some rules in, some technical directives around porpoising, because his team couldn't manage it. You'll recall Red Bull at that time were flying high, weren't they? And Christian Horner responded to Toto Wolff's plea by saying the following: fix your fudging car, Toto. Fix your fudging car. Karmic justice never sleeps, and definitely not in the weird and wacky world of F1, the Piranha's tank. And I feel that Christian Horner will have those words in his ears ringing. Fix your fudging car, Christian. Because again, if you bring upgrades to Imola and Barcelona shortly thereafter, proper flexi wings that give Maximilian Verstappen a car capable of winning races and therefore championships, all of this goes away. It fades to black instantaneously, because winning solves for everything. It papers over all the cracks. The Tayavija family, the 51% owners of the parent company Red Bull GmbH, will be now more concerned than ever that Christian's tenure as team principal of Red Bull Racing has run its course. It's successful one at least. But this dude looks like he hasn't been able to keep the key people at the team capable of building a race car. He said everything to the contrary, that Pierre Vacher and Enrico Balbo, that they'll be able to get it done. But as at May 2025, they have not even close. And they've had time, probably too much, in the eyes of Charlie Mavija, the 51% owner, the dude who will have all of the vetoes, the majority shareholder of the parent company of Red Bull Racing Technologies. Chat, I'm telling you, I feel like this is DEFCON 1 for Christian Horner. He has himself a problem. And what does he need to do going forward? Of course, in the words of Christian Horner, nothing more simple or complicated than fixing your fudging car. Oh, the humanity.